right near the end of the Maimah of Shmini Atzeres, on Omad Tov Reish Tzadik Hey, and that's in the Ain Beis of the Hemshech Ain Beis. Omad, as I said, Tov Reish Tzadik Hey, and this evening is Monday evening, the Kof Vov Moitzoi Kof Hey, Oder Beis Toshin Ein Vov. We're holding right at the Siyum of the Maimah, having learnt Shin Lamed Ches, in which we learned about the three sets, as it were, of Hey Hadvuris, which are Nimshochim B'Malchus, one which has two aspects to it. That's the Gvuris, which in Yonim is L'tzerek Binyan, Etzem Binyan HaMalchus, or that's the Amshoches from Be'ika Kol Shari Asfiras HaMalchus Shebehem. It becomes Malchus Shebebina becomes Bina Shebemalchus, and that's the Etzem Binyan Derek Tzimtzumim and Gvuris of Malchus, and then a further inyan in the actual building of the function of Malchus, which is to be Mashpia in Biyah, is the inyan Oisius, a Dibur, which are named Shochim, Mesferes HaMalchus, to be Poyo, the Etzem inyan of the Hisabes, and they undergo a further inyan of Gvuris and Tzimtzumim in the inyan of the Oisius, Almanas Lashpia Mamish Babiyah. The second inyan of the second level of Hey Gvuris we saw was a inyan which is Mushper in Malchus Autori Yur Labiyah, Lahachiyas Velavara Salem Biyah, and that's in the inyan of Yisod Shabbat. Befrat Bo'ilama Asiya, what that arouses the inyan of Bittul V'Rotzoi in Malchus of L'Seira V'Limoshe B'Chazor L'Shersho. How she was in Eilam Atzilas prior to her Yerida B'Biyah, and there's two inyanim, and that is inyan from Bittul Me inyan HaYeshes, and then there's the inyan of Tshuka V'Rotzoi the Hisalis B'Madregas, and Alidei, that Bittul, which is the inyan what the Gemara calls the Masechta Sukkah, the inyan from Kli Reichon, an empty vessel, so then she becomes a Kli of Hashpoez Melmaila, but that's the inyan from Ava V'Ira Nitten La Melamaila, and then Avedus Hashem, that's got to do with the inyan from Kriya Shema, She'elamita, well, that's albeit the inyan from Mariras, but a Mariras, B'derech Rotzei V'Aliyah, L'Ishkalel B'Shor, the Neshama, is Oile Kiyadua B'Shas, and later the Rebbe is going to call that also Tikkun Chatzos, that's Beklal the Avodah of Chatzos. And then Alidei Seh, Malchus is Mishyachid, B'Chazara B'Shersho, and is Mekabel Ava V'Yira, Melmaila, in even from Ad, the inyan from Klita Teiva, or the inyan from Nasoga, and Midas Ava V'Yira B'Techa, Midas Be'etzem Hadiyar, and even van Ava Melamaila and Ava Bilti Mugbeles. And that's the inyan from B'chol Meidecha. All of that comes Matzad the Hey Gevuris Hashniyim. And then we saw there was a Hey Gevuris Hashlishiyim, well, that's a inyan from Hoiloda, Davke into Gile Elakus Mamish, in Bia, that's the Indian von Gilui Oyer, of a, not just ordinary Oyer, but a Gilui Oyer Atzmi, which is Nimshach, Malchus Datzilas into Bia in Oyer von Gilui Elokus Mamish. And Be'ika, that comes through the Indian von Limadat Torah, or as he called it, the Indian von Eisika Torah, where the person is misasik in Limadat Torah kol hayom. But there's nimshach alidei seh Indian von Oyer Atzmi. And that's the Ike Indian of the Hiloda, the Izgalus of Elokus, how it is in Atzilus Mamish in Bia.
Rav Gafne,
Yeah.
what page are we on?
Tofreish Tzadik Hey. Tofreish Tzadik Hey. And so we said that that's the Aveda B'Kol Hashana, and then we saw how it was in Tishrei, the Indian of Rosh Hashanah, Be'ika concerned with Binyan HaMalchus, Yom Kippur being the Indian from Bitol, the Zera Sarotzai, and the Indian from Shmini Atzeres, but that's Be'ika, the Indian from Torah, the Iskalas, and later of the era Ki Atzmi Animshach, Alidei the Hey Gevuras Ashlishiyim. So we now come to the new chapter. He said, Al Pia now, according to all that we've learned here, Yuvan Mashkosu Bayem Ashmini Atzeres, Bayem Ashmini Atzeres Tiyelochem. The Davki on the 8th day, there will be an Atzeres. What is well known, Atzeres means eating from Klita, gathering everything together in a way that is Nimshach, Davki B'Pnimius. He said, the Mishmini Atzeres, the Shmini Atzeres, we asked the Shaila, that the Gemara brings that Shmini Atzeres is a regular B'Pnei Atzmai. It's not just the 8th day of Sukkot, but it's a separate Yontav, all on its own. And so he said, what's so remarkable about Shmini Atzeres, that even though it comes by Hemshik, L'Sukkot, it's a complete Yontav all on its own. So he said, Hine Gimel Regolim, Ein Bechinas Chagas, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Kenoida. That Pesach Adini von Avraham Avinu, das Chesed, and Shvuas Adini von Yitzchak, das Gvuras, and Sukkot, Adini von Yaakov Avinu, Tiferes. Kenoida, as is well known. V'Shmini Atzeres, Am Shora, Mebchinas Bina. That Bina is the Indian von Moichin, how is Mekabel from Chochma, and the Moichin, Lamailami, Gilu V'Eilamas. The Iche Gilu V'Eilamas is Aditei, the Indian von Midas. Of Bina is the Indian von Moichin, they are Muvdolim, from the whole Indian of Shurish Ashpoa in the Eilamas. So Bina is a very high and Pnimius Dika Madrega. You have a Hein Gvuras the Ema. There the Hey Gvuras of Bina is well known. That Lafia Zoya V'Eid Makim is a Davkir from Ema, with that's a Bina. There's a Indian from Gvuras Amisoira. In this respect, it's the Indian von Gvuras Momotokes. It's sweetened Gvuras, in other words, Gvuras Lamal Yusa. What their Indian is not to be Moineya, the Indian von Giluin or Davkir, to through the Indian of Gvuras, and a build-up of tremendous power, as it were, to give the Indian von Gilui Davkir, Be'elamas, Bia. So therefore he said their Gvuras, Momotoke, is sweetened Gvuras, what they're in is Gile, Erein, Tzoy, Pamalchus. Vamshachas Gvuras Elo, Ain Beis that there should be Ain from Gile Oyer in Malchus, in Oyer, that's Nimshach, or also into Elamas Bia, Gile Elokus Mamish, well that's on Shmini Atzeres. But Chila, however, it goes with a whole Seder. Chila heim hey Gvuras or Rishonim, Shel Atzera Binyona, binyan Sfiras HaMalchus, the Kavanah Shenimshochim B'Rosh Hashanah. And that's the Indian of Bechinas is Chadshas HaMalucha, the re-beginning and the rebuilding of the Indian Sfiras HaMalchus, that should become Beklal Sfira and be able to give forth what it's supposed to give forth. And that's the Indian from Binyan HaMalchus be Rosh Hashanah. V'achar kach hei gvura shnihem, where we saw the Indian of Malchus becomes a Kli, El Manas La'alis L'mayla, from Bia, B'tshuka, V'rotzoi, well, that's a Indian from hei gvura shnihem b'yom HaKippurim. And that's Indian from Kli Reichon, last is Kli. That Malchus becomes a Kli. That's the beetle, and then it's able to hold by genuine rotzai. Gvurus Edu Ain Beis Bina. They're also from Bina. Akamayshikosu b'machimacher. Rak the Ika Bechinas Gvurus Momatoches Bechinas Gili Oyer Ain Hei Gvurus Ashlishiyim Anim Shochim B'Shmini Atzer. So he said it's Mavuya b'machim acher that even these second gurus, but they're not yet the Inyan Gilui Kolkak. No, Inyanim is to be poiled the Inyan from Bittel Varotzoi in the Inyan from Malchus. Also, Shersham is from Sfira Sabina, but that's the Inyan Amoichin. However, he said the Ike Inyan of the sweetened Gevures, but they come, it's at the Inyan Amor, the Inyan from Bina. Well, that's on the Inyan from Gilei Oyer, well, that's the third set of Hei Gvurus Ashlishiyim, but they're Nimshel B'Shmini Atzeres. V'achar B'Shmini Atzeres, Yem Hei Gvurus Ashlishiyim, and that's the Bechinas Hei Gvurus HaMomentokes, the sweetened Gvurus Alidei the Moichin and the Maila Gedela, Madrega Gevoya, the Inyan Moichin, and it's well known that Bina is the Inyan from Iskalas, Betekov at the Inyan Moichin. So that's a tremendous build-up of the Tekov of Bina, or that comes into the Gvuras, which are Nimshul Mimena, and they become Gvuras in Yonim Ashpur. Well, that's the Inyan from Gvuras Momotokes, sweetened as it were, Gvuras, because B'derech Klal, the Inyan from Gvura is a Inyan from Tzimtzum V'Maniya, and here the Gvuras Davki cause and forced through the Inyan Agiloi. V'lochein Atzeres, Shal Sukkes, Yehu B'Shmini Davka. And therefore the Atzeres, the Klita, and the gathering together of the whole Inyan of Sukkot is the Davka on the 8th day, where that's Inyan from Shmini, is the one on the Bina is the Inyan from Tamni Oha, Milamata Lamaila. Bina is the Inyan from the 8th Sfira, Milamata Lamaila. That's to say, if we don't count Malchus, but we count all the test Sfiras, Shalamayla Mi Malchus, then the 8th one is the Inyan from Bina. If you're going Milmata Lamaila, and that's well known, and it's Mavur and Bahabi Makemas, that a Maila from Shmini is that it's Lamaila Mi Ishtauchelas, or Ilamas, and Kamavur Bahabi Makemas, and considers the Maila of Shmini. It was brought down on the Dvar Malchus by Ira from the Rebbe, in the last week, Benegir to Pasha Shmini. And that's the Inyan of Tamni Or, the Inyan of the 8th Sfira, Mil Mata Lamaila, and therefore the Gvuras, which are Nimshul, Mi Madrega Zu, and even from Gvuras Momo Tokeis. V'sehu, Be'yem HaShminiya, Davki on the 8th day, Tiye Lochem, there'll be a Inyan from Atzeres, Davki on the Yom HaShmini, Atzeres, Tiye Lochem, Shoz Agiloi Mechinas Atzmaser and Tzai Parachu. Well, that's the Inyan of Pnimi Sabina, but that's the Shalamayla Mi Aishtauchelas, Shalamayla Mi Ailamas, Befinas Pnimias. And that's Nimshach even from Pneumius, but I get to the Nivroim that they makabel it also b'teich kelim shalahem, and that's what's written Shmini b'yom hashmini atzeres tiyeh lo lochem. What lochem means, well known, that means for you or to you or shaykh to your ownership. Lochem means b'pnimius. Despite the goydel hamayla of that madrega, it's nimshut davki b'pnimius. And that's the Maila of Shmini Atzeres, that it's the Gilui Oyer Atzmi, the third of the whole series of Hei Hagvures, and it's all in as Gilui Oyer Atzmi in Bia. And as Buliyil was explained above, Shah Gilui, who are the Torah, like we said, Bavedas Korashona, the Ika of that revelation into Bia of the Oyer Atzmi, that's after through the Inifant Torah and Limud Torah, or even more exact, like we saw the Inifant Asik Torah, busying oneself mamish. Even from Asik with the Inifant Torah, then there's Nimshach, that whole Inyan from Shmini, even from Lachem, Davki b'Pnimius. And that's Davki al-Dei Torah, Shu Atzmi v'Oyer Pnimi. The Torah has the Maila, that it's a very high Oyer L'Maila Mish, also what's called Oyer Atzmi, Oyer Pnimi, and yet nonetheless it also comes, and it's Meir b'Pnimius. And it's just לפי כעין, מה שמבוא in Tanya בסוף פרק ד', that Torah has the Maila of being both like the Inyan of mitzvahs, being the Maila Mia Odom, and at the same time it's Nimsha b'Pnimius in the Kelim and the Asoga of the Odom. וזהו שהאיסים שמחת תורה בשמיני עצרת, so therefore the Minhag Yisrael, as it brought down in the Zohar, but the Klal Seinim and Simchas Torah is a minhag, and nonetheless that's done davki on Shmini Atzeret. In Eretz Yisrael it's all on the same day. B'chutzara it's a Yom Neisaf, but the Inim and Simchas Torah is precisely at the time of Yom HaShmini. So he said, the Hinei Simcha it's well known that when a Shaykh Simcha, if something reveals itself and something comes in an open and recognizable isgalus to the Makabel. And he said, but Simcha Goyim Giloi. And the more there will be Simcha, at the beginning the Simcha comes mitzad Giloi. But once you have Simcha, and you're into the Inyan of Simcha, then that causes more Giloi, that then there's a Teisefes in the Inyan of Giloi Alidei Simcha. V'al Keim b'Shmini Atzeret, Yoz hu Giloi, the Bechinas Atzmus, Ein Beis, that then there's a Giloi from Tamnioa, or that's the Pnimis HaMoichin, Pnimis HaBina, that's Nimshach Atzmus Ein Beis, the Oyer Torah, Meir begiloi b'chinas Pnimius, and the Oyer from Torah is Meir b'shor she'atzmi into the Kelim of Kol Echad MiYisrael, then Oisim Oz Simchas Torah. And then there's the Inyan Davki of Simcha in the Inyan from Torah, with the Simcha, V'yah Simcha ala Gilui Oyer Torah. Like we said, the whole Inyan of those Gimel, those Gevuras, Hey Gevuras, Hashlishiyim, is the Inyan von Leida, and that's the Inyan of Gilei, Atzmi of Torah. Since that's a Inyan von Giloi, then the Ika Avodah Benegel says Simcha. So therefore the Inyan von Simchas Torah comes out biyachad with the Shmini Atzeret. But that's also the word Atzeret indicates a klito in the kelim of the Makabel. V'agiloi hu b'chinas hei gvuris mumutokes da'ema. Like we said, the giloi itself is from the hei gvuris mumutokes. They're from a very high level. What they're in is giloi, not tzimtzum. And they come from the inyan van Sfiras Abina, how it is l'mayla mi ha'olamas, v'lochein hu regel b'fnei atzmoi. Therefore it's a yontif, all of its own right, and davke b'yom ha'shmini, or b'yom ha'shmini davke, being as it is, that shmini is indicatory of o'er atzmi l'mayla l'gamri, mi ha'olamas. But that indicates that Sukkot also is l'mayla, but Sukkot al chuponim azebs ha'shaychas to inyan ha'olamas v'hishtalshelas ve'ila the inyan shmini atzeres is the aliyah into the hei gvuras ha'shlishiyim davki l'mayla mi ha'olamas ha'er atzmi van atzmas ein sof v'diyosh ha'gili hu alidei ha'toira, that the ika gili of that oir afila b'kol hashana, how much more so? Beragoyim elu hu alidei ha'toira v'lochein oisim oz simchas Torah. Therefore the custom is davki at that time and that moment to make the inyan and simchas Torah. Shehu ha'simcha ala giloyer yeh ha'torah. That's a simcha due to the gilui, like he just said that gilui is shayat davki when there's a, simcha is shayat davki when there's a gilui. Yeah, gilui ha'torah shemishgale b'shmini ha'torah. V'alidei ha'simcha meir zeh b'gilui b'nefesh, then it's nimshach lamata into the neshamas alei lamata, and it's meir b'gilui in the nefesh. V'hu ha'gilui d'bchinas atzmas ein sof baruch hu. It's a very high madrega from Pnimis HaMoichin, the inyan from Pina, the Snimshach, davke lamata, b'chol echad ve'echad. So we're now holding on top Reish Tzadik Bov, that we'll say the kitzur, and that's like the final summing up of that maimah. So he says, kitzur b'chol hashana, Ba'avoida hei gvuras harishonim hu in kabbalaseo malchus shamayim. And we said that's in Kriya Shema, the kabbalaseo malchus shamayim b'derech kafiyah. Or that means davki forcing yourself b'derech gevura to build yourself properly and not to be nimshach achrei havli and taivas ha'olam v'chulu. No davki ha'inyan and kabbalaseo. We said that's not, that doesn't cancel out the possibility of midas. Over there also, if we take the example of Avo, it's an Ava Asuya. He sort of obliges himself to think about things which lead to Ava, but not that he's got a mamish agili of Ava, and what through that Yagia, be his bonanus, Yates liboy li'ahava, then he turns his heart in the direction of Ava. But that's a yigia, a very hard work, and so he has a certain trace of Ava's Hashem, but not complete with the whole shlemus, because it's yater l'vove. He has, as it were, prone his heart to go in that direction, b'derech kafiyah. And then he said, Ashniim, the Guris Ashniim, Aim Tikkun Chatzos, here he calls it Tikkun Chatzos. Even though in the man we call it Krishma Shalamita, Tikkun Chatzos, but that's the Asiyas Kli Reichon. That's the inyan of emptying out all the Shtuyas and all the inyanim which are available from Avedas Hashem until he becomes literally empty, Kli. But he said, but tefillah, then he's able to have, in tefillah shachris, he can have a emazin if an ava, because it becomes a kli, not just a ava suyo, but a ava amitius, shechayfetz, beliboy ba'emet. Adidei asoga elakis, he really wants elakus, but ava through the asoga, that he's able to be masig And this movement that also helps him with the Indian the Asogir. So he said, "V'gama ava yira elyonim." We saw there was a further shlemas that he gets a certain ava v'yira even from above. He can be zeicha that he gets ava b'matona milmaila. He said, "V'ashlishiyim," at the hey aguras ashlishiyim. That's already gilui, what the Indian aliyah v'derech rotzei. V'bitl is not mamish Indian from gilui, even though it's Indian from ava and it's coming milmaila. Some in people who really zeicher, but it's not mamish the Indian from gilui ha'oyer elyon. And he said, "But the gilui ha'oyer elyon is b'derech." What we call Hiloda, and that comes Davki into Biyah through principally through the infinite Torah, and that brings the Gilui of Oyer Atzmi. Yeah, in other words, Oyer Shalamayla Mishtalshalas, what stems from the infinite Pinimius Sphere Sabina. Vezehu Bayem Ashmini, yeah, Atzeres. Well, that's the Indian from Bina. What Bina, as we said, was the Shmini Milamatala Maila. Yeah, Hey Guras da Ema, Guras Momotokes. Vehena Hey Guras Ashlishiyam. They are the third set, as it were, of the Hey Hagures, who in a Torah, and we saw that is Emas Giloi. To the Makabel Melamayla Lamata, but even Shel Gilui, and that's the Indian of Torah. Davki through Asik, at Torah, one is Mamshik that, Vazeu Shoisim Oz Bishmini Atzeres, Simras Torah, Davki on Shmini Atzeres, but that's a Gilui at the Atzmi, the Indian from Heiloda, and that principally comes through Torah. And since it's a Inyan from Gilui Godel, therefore you make a Inyan from Simchas Torah, and Davki Inyan from Simcha Gedela v'chulu with all the protim in the Inyan from Simcha of Simchas Torah. So Ad Kan, Baruch Hashem B'Shar Tova, Ad Kan we've been maslim that amazing Maimah of Shmini Atzeres. So now, the next Maimah is the Siyata D'Shmaya, Shabbos Pasha Bereshis, also of Hey Eter, of Ayin Hey. So it's written in the first pasuk of the Torah, Bereshis Bora Elokim Esa Shamayim Ve'esa Oretz. And then the next pasuk says immediately, Ve'ha'oretz Oesa Tohu Voyu, and that Oretz was not yet shaped, as it were. It was a Inyan for Tohu Voyu, what they mean without a clear form as yet. Inyan like Rashi says over there, Adova HaMathe Esabriyais, because it doesn't have a clear form, and people sort of gaze at it without knowing what it's really taking on. What shape and what Indian is it actually going to have. That's called Tohu Vavoyu. And like the Ramban is Mashma, that's also Maramas of the Choyma HaPoshut V'chulu. So he said, but Tzorik Lahovin, Miyacha She'oima Boro Elokim Esa Shamayim V'esa Oretz, but it's Mashma that the Shamayim V'oretz already came into being. How does he say after that in a pasuk, which actually occurs behemshech to that afterwards? Yeah, va'oretz hoyas atoyu v'voyu, or that tends to indicate that there's no Shamayim v'oretz yet. He just said Bereshis Bora Shamayim v'oretz. So he said the toyu ainu she'einu dova ma. It's not yet a clear or shaped inyan. Yeah, kamoi me'efes v'toihu nekshavu loy. But that's a famous lesson of the pasuk in Yeshaya Novi. Well, that's a pasuk or two further. What we say in the morning, in our davening of Kol HaGoyim Ain Negdoi, that they're all like nothing. In front of him, Kama Midli v'chulu v'chulu, like a drop out of a bucket, because we say in the morning in the beginning of Tefillah Shachris. So that's a posik from Yeshaya Novi. And a couple of psukim further, it writes again over there, he says the Novi, that Kol HaGoyim Ke'ayin Negdoi and Ke'efes V'soihu Nechshavu. In other words, that they're klum, they're not yet anything, they don't have any real Matthias, Gabi Elakut. And therefore he said that indicates Ain Beis Matthias. So how can you have the Haloi Bora Elokim Eisa Shomayim? He created the heavens, and then how do you say immediately after that everything was Toyu V'voyu? If he already created them, then we know what, as it were, how they shape. Is what do we say that it was Toyu V'voyu? What is well known that the Pirush Rashi, Ala Posik, or La Psukim Ba'ila, Rashi is Miyazav that kasher. But Rashi says that Bereshis Bora doesn't mean the actual creation, but what it's referring to is a general introductory expression that Bereshis Broi, at the beginning of the creation of everything, which is stated by the word Shamayim V'Ores, been time before everything came about, then it was Toyu V'Voyu. So according to Rashi, Ein Kushya B'Zeh. However, we have to say that the Rebbe is asking from the pashtus of the hemshech of the Loshan. Lefi Koire, how would you say, he reads the Inyan. Beli Yeshuvim B'Dova, it just seems b'pashtus that there was a creation of Shamayim V'Oretz, and then it goes back and says that everything was Toyu V'Voyu. But that's like a irregularity or a stira in its own self. That's from the pashtus of the Loshan. Again, a further thing, he said, Tzorich Lohavin, Alo Yachachach Nema, Brias Hashamayim, Ba'imri, there's another in Yom HaRavi, or Yom HaSheni, that's written, V'hi Rakia B'Seich HaMayim. And then it's written by Yas Elokim Es HaRakia. And it's well known that Rakia is the name for Shamayim. So we see that he created the Shamayim only on the second day, as it were. Or Mahuinim Bora Elokim Es HaShamayim V'Oretz. It's mashma from the first passage that he'd already created them. So what do we say that he made them? He made the Shamayim on the second day. From the Lashon of the pasuk, it would appear that that was the beginning of everything. Right at the very beginning, he made everything. So we need to understand what is the hemshah of these psukim. What is mashma that the whole bria was created first, and then later things went back again, as it were, to a state of toyu, when they had to be recreated. Was that's a dover which is not moving. It's derish bia. Why would the Torah write it that way? So that's that kasha. Now he brings a new inyan. Was hine b'gemara sukkah, and right near the end of Masechta Sukkah, in Daf Mem Tes Amud Aleph, Isa shitin mei sheshish mei breishes nivro. Hashav the shitin, the Gemara tells about it before that at the top of the Mizbeach, or the Gemara is, in that Gemara is talking about the Nisuch HaMayim and the Nisuch HaYayin, how they used to pour wine and during Chag HaSukkos, also water on the Mizbeach. In order to do that, there were like two nostrils at the top of the Mizbeach. But into them they used to pour in one nostril the inyan for Yayin, and in the other the inyan for Mayim on Chag HaSukkos. and they used to go down into sort of like leading pipeways, and those leading pipeways that led down, they're called the Shittim. Their name is in the Gemara and the Mishnah. Their name is Shittim. And according to this Shitta, there's actually a machlokes in Tanoim. There's a difference of opinion amongst the Tanoim about this, but according to this opinion, the Shittim, they went down to the Tehoim. They went down underneath the Mizbeach, and they went down all the way to the Tehoim. So that when the wine or the water was poured into these nostrils at the top of the Mizbeach, it was Mekaleya. It just flowed down, and through the Shittim, it went all the way down to the Toihu, way underneath the ground. That's according to this Shitta. And so the Gemara says, the Shittim were very special in Yonim, but they had the spout to go so far and everything. How did they, who made them? So according to that opinion, they were created by the Eibishter Misheshes Yemei Bereishis. And the Gemara brings a pasuk in Shir Hashirim, Shenema Chamucha Yerechayich, V'chulu V'chulu. That they're like very special material, and then it says Maisa Uman or Maisa Omon, well, that's the work of a great craftsman. And so the Chamuchi Yerachai refers to the circumference of the legs. If you put a circle around your leg, that's called Chamuchi Yerachai, but that's referring to the Shittim. Yeah, and so they were Maisa Omon, and the Gemara says that Maisa Uman, Umona Shel Olam, referring to the Uman who created the whole world. That's how the Gemara learns it out. And then it brings up Brisa, Tona Debei Rabbi Shmuel. It brings a quote from this Brisa, Bereshis, and the Brisa in the name of Rabbi Shmuel brings as it were, a remez from the Pasuk Bereshis to this Indian that the Shittim were created directly from the Eibishter in the beginning of the creation. So he says, Bereshis, al Tikra, Bereshis, Ela Borashis, that the word Bereshis, if you divide it into two syllables, then it's like Borashis. So Rabbi Shmuel learns a remez to the Shittim, or the Shit is like the word Shittim, that right at the very beginning of the creation, he created the Shittim. But Tzarich Lahovin, Ma'u HaShittim LeBereshis, Bora Elokim, what sort of a kesher to these Shittim? What do they have with the whole Indian of Bereshis? The very beginning of the whole creation was Bora Elokim, the daughter Bereshis, Bora Shit, referring to the Shittim. So he said we need to understand what sort of a kesher is that. That's one on us in, I think it's the Hemshech Mayim Rabbim, or the Hemshech V'Kochav, and the Rebbe Marash. He's also got a whole beer on that Indian. And we'll see the Rebbe gets onto it near the end of the Maimah. Very fascinating Indian. But Lahovin calls there, in order to understand all of that, Yesh lahaktim tachila, we have to begin Mashan Hizbuya Li'il, the Elokai HaMelech, the expression Aromimcha Elokai HaMelech, as Elokai HaMelech, Ze Koyach HaEloki, Shebo B'chidas Koyach HaPoyel Benifal, Lahaveis HaNivroim, that's referring to the Amshocha from Malchus. Yeah, what Elokai is for Lashon Koyach. That's also Lashon Elokus, or the Elokus, which is Nimsha, but Derech Melech. In other words, Derech De'iniv and Hela V'Esther of Malchus, that should become a Koyach HaPoyel Benifal. It should be a Eloki, which is Mahave, the inyan van Nivroim, how they are in Elamus Bia. Ubitei SHIUR, beginas Elokai Hamela, that there should be this inyan van Elokus als Nimshach in the Malchus, and it's Mahava, the all the Nivroim in Elamus Bia. Then we saw that through the inyan of Gevuret, V'tzimtzumim. Like we learned from the Posik, Kveid Malchuscha Yoimeiru. If we talk about them, we want to be Megala Malchus, then Ugvoroscha Yidaberu. Then we have to, as a word, talk about the inyan of Gevuret. We have to bring in and be mamshik in yonim of Gevuret. She'ein Gevuret l'tzera binyona. They are the Gevuret, what their inyan is for the sake of building the inyan for Malchus. But his boy, sheyesh poseh page695-2, that we saw in that general, Hamshocha, the hair, Guri, for the necessity, the etzem binyan Hamalchus, there are two inyanim in that. And we saw that Aleph, Lahalim or Lahastia Pnimis V'atzmas O'ir, that the Pnimis V'atzmas of the Ur of Atzilas has to undergo a Hilem, Yashanisha Bechinas Chitonius O'ir Labad. And that's the inyan of Malchus Shebechol Svira, well, that's Nimshach in the Malchus and causes the binyan of Malchus. Or Lagabi, the higher Sviras, how they are, that's an inyan from Chitzoni Usom, that's not the Pnimis V'atzmas. And then he said, V'abeis, Shegam Chitonius, even with that Chitonius, comes into a inyan from further Tzimtzum, when it becomes Oisiv, but Tzirufim, in order to be Mahavad, Nivroim and Biyah, Shahin, Ma'alimu, Mastirim Gamkein, Alho, one under Oisiv, so the inyan from Doimem, and therein is like a form of Helem, and there, actually, Nimshach Lahavis, the Ribui HaNivroim, how they are in Biyah, so that's a further great inyan from Tzimtzum, so that means like two Oifani of Tzimtzum, one in Atzilas Atzmei and the other from Atzilas into Elamas Mamish, or both of them are Tzedach HaBinyan of Malchus, Liatzmei. And so that's what he now goes on in the new chapter. Well, we'll deal with that more barigas in the coming classes, but that's what he said. Zeo Mashakosu, but we say it in Ashrei, Aromimcho Elokai Hamelech. That not just we describe what is Elokai Hamelech, but that's the inyan of Elokus, which is Nimshach Derech Malchus, and how it goes down into Biyah. But we also say Aromimcho Elokai. We want somehow to re-elevate that whole inyan of Malchus, that it should be Makabel from Madrega of Reimamas, Aromimcho, but that indicates not just to return to Atzilas, but to be Makabel from the Reimamas of Elokus, but that's the inyan van Seivev Kolon, and as it will be Masber, but that's the Elokia, this is Afila Lamaila Me'atzilas. So that's the ultimate aim, is to elevate into the inyan van Reimamas as Ain Seiv Mami. So he says, that's the Bechin Tzimtzum Ve'helem Oer, Achi Yuchal, or Yochel, Liyesh Mocher, Lametzias Yesh, Tzrichim, Lareimim, Bechinas Reimamas Ain Seiv. We have to elevate for that level of Malchus into the Reimamas of the Ain Seiv. He said, V'yesh Lema, Al Deramasha Kosu, like we bring down in davening, it's a pasuk in Ezra and Nehemiah, but Tochem es dvorecha ki tzadik ato, that you will elevate your word. What that inyan van elevating your word is the inyan van lachokim, ulareimeim bechinas dibur hoyaliyin b'malchus, of the Dibur Eli. Now it is Mitzad Malchus to lift it up literally and elevate it into the Inifan Reimamas. Sharei V'chinas Pnimis HaMalchus Hi Lamaila Ba'atzilas. It's Lamaila inside Elam Atzilas. Over Derek Klaus, V'chinas Keser Malchus Adovu Bezor. What he said that means, generally speaking, that's a well-known, the famous lesson in the Kisvi Arizal, that from Tiferes to Zor, Nasa Kesel Nukver. In other words, it begins with Tiferes de Emo, Nasa Kesel Zor, and then Tiferes de Zor, Nasa Kesel Emo. In other words, that the Ike Makiv in Atzilas to the Indian of Malchus is from Zor. And in Zor Guva, the Indian from Tiferes, well, it's well known that Tiferes is a Kli to a very high era. So he says the way Malchus is in Atzilas, it's B'derech Klal, still kosher or makusha with the Malchus, with the Keser Malchus, how it is in Zor. But Tes Spheres the Malchus, over the whole Tes Spheres of Malchus, apart from the meaning from Keser, that means all the spheres. Adle in and Malchus, all of them go down into Malchus, and through Malchus, they go into Biyah. And that's the Inif and Tokim as to Lahalis, Tes Spheres Lamayla, to elevate them back into the Inif and Atzilas. So I think we'll pause there for this evening. That's quite a bit of material, and it's very interesting, the Ashgacha Pratias, that we don't always seem to notice with these classes in the Ain Beis. But L'chera, Dafki tonight we came out with the whole piece about Bereshis, Bora, Elokim, and the Inyanim of the Bria, and the Inyanim how they're shayus to the Seder of the Bria with the whole Inyan. It's well known that today was Kofei Order Base, and Kofei Order is according to one Shitta, according to Rabbi Yeshua, but that's the day that the world was created, because he holds the Benisan Nivra Ho'ilam. So the actual beginning of the creation was Kofei Ba'odo, and Bria Sa'odam was on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That's according to his Shitta. And that's so we hold that even though we follow Rabbi Eliezer, and we say that B'Kofei Ba'odo, B'Kofei Ba'elul Nivra Ho'ilam, that's the way we paskin. But we say that the Shitta, when I get to Order and Nisan, but that's Mitzad Makshova. The Kavio, that was Ila Makshova by the Eberster, and the Poel Mamish was in El V'Nisan. And so it's well known that Kofei Order, this is the birthday of the Rebbetzin, and it's well known as a famous Maimah from the Rebbe when I get to that whole Inyan, the Inyan and how the world was Nivra Makshova, and how it was Nivra B'Poel Mamish, and how the Inyan from Makshova is Poel in the Inyan from Bria, even though it's not noticeable, but the Inyan from the Makshova, which is like the Pnimis of the Bria, and that's the Inyan from Nisan, that's really the Pnimis of the whole Bria, a whole big Arihas. And he connects it with Pasha Chodesh and the Inif and Chodesh Nisan. Beklal, a very big, amazing Maimon, amazing Arichas, from the Rebbe Melech Mashiach. And suffice to say, it was today was that day, so we have to take a lot of koiches, and we have to know that despite the terrible hell of Ha'esem in which we find ourselves, where the whole world, and we see the whole creation is is Shokotzaka, to use the expression of the Rebbe. It's all going back to Toyu Vavoyu, Shem Shmo. It's all just a huge bilbul and Ainav and efforts, but Toyu and Davki, we got to hold firm and we got to strengthen ourselves with the Havtocha of the Rebbe, that it's Mama, you see it now, that it must be the Achris Hayomim. There can't be any other explanation, klal, for the whole weirdness and terrible situation in which we find ourselves. It can only be because it's like the finality of Yom Achris Hayomim, and we're moving swiftly into the Greisei scholars, what the Rebbe promises so much. And Tekev Miyad will be Zeicha to go from Kofei Ba'oda to Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and that's the Indian according to Rebbe Yeshua, the Yom Shur Nivra Ha'ilon, and it's a very high madrega, the Gila of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, like Rashi brings, that not all Esa Torah was 10 crowns, but it's not the place to go into here. Barichas, what's the whole pnimis at the Esa Torah. Meisha Kur asked in which year Rebbe said that's Mama. That's a good question. I think it's printed in the Maimorim HaMalukotim, and it's Kofei Ba'oda, but I don't remember which year it is, but I think it's either in Daled Hay or Vov. I don't think it's in the early volumes. I think it's in either Daled Hay and Vov, but you can look it up according to the Maftechas. There's also to Maftechas nowadays. You can look it up according to Kofei Ba'oda or to Brias Ha'olam, or all sorts of different ways of finding it, also through the Maftechas. But it's definitely in the Sifrei HaMaimorim HaMalukotim, Domani, that it's either Dalet Hay or Vov. And so Hashem Shirov, the Rebbe was Givaldik Hatzlacha. Now, on Wednesday morning early, I'm leaving Tzvasan. I'm actually coming down, Beis Hashem, to Kfar Chabad, and I'm going to be baking matzahs, Beis Hashem. We have the old Kvutza with Rav Aaron Halperin that's been going on now for over 40 years, as far as my historical sense tells me, over 40 years for sure. We bake every year shortly before Rosh Chodesh or on Rosh Chodesh itself, and I'll be coming down, but I won't be able to stay because I'm coming down by Kevel, so I'll have to just get the matzahs and daven and leave. But if anybody should want to meet me in person about any Indian, then Beis Hashem, between the hours of about 9